Welcome to the Explainer series for Quant. Here we'll be using very simple concepts and apply it to CAT level problems and solve them as easily as possible.
In this session, we'll be looking at coordinate geometry. We'll be looking at the basic concepts in coordinate geometry and solve a few questions which came up in the past CAT and XAT papers. I would suggest pause this video, have a look at the PDF. The link is available in the description of this video. Once you've tried these questions on your own, then proceed with the rest of this session.
Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can like and follow us on Facebook as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel to get live event and notifications for all the updates regarding CAT and other MBA entrance examination. You can also look at our WhatsApp as well as Telegram lists. You can join over there and we will update you. We don't spam over there. If you want, you can enroll for our Quant and LRDI courses. These are the best and the most comprehensive courses available in the market.
Coordinate geometry uses the basic principles of planar geometry. For the ease of understanding, I have divided this segment on coordinate geometry into 4 parts. First part, we'll be looking at basics on points, segments, triangles, etc. Then we'll move on to lines and circles. Finally, going on to areas. And once we have done all this, we will combine all of them together and solve a few complex problems. The difference between your usual planar geometry and the coordinate geometry is basically for every point in a Cartesian coordinate system or the coordinate system, we basically have to describe where the point is located with reference to a common point or commonly agreed point called the origin, right? So just like in a map, you have to figure out you can identify a location of any state or any place by its north-south latitude and east-west longitude, right? The meeting point of this will be your location of that point. Similarly, in a Cartesian coordinate system, we will measure distance. If you take the origin as your reference point, right, the horizontal distance is your x coordinate and the vertical distance will be your y coordinate. So in this given example, for a point 2, 3, 2 is your x coordinate, 3 is your y coordinate. The x coordinate is also called the abscissa and y coordinate is called the ordinate, right? And these two reference lines, the horizontal line is your x coordinate and your vertical line is your y coordinate, right? Everything else, the basic principles of linear geometry or planar geometry, you can use it in the Cartesian coordinate geometry system as well. Now, basic building block of any geometry is points, right? We have already located the points. Now, if you have 2 points, right, let's call them x1, y1 and x2, y2 as given here, right? We can find the distance between them using the distance relation. This is basically this basically uses your Pythagoras theorem to find the distance between them. If you can join them using a line segment and you want to divide this in the ratio p is to q, where p is towards the second point and q is towards the y point, then the relation can be derived. Again, this is derived from similar triangles. The proof is available in most texts, right? Remember, x gets multiplied with p, x1 gets multiplied with p, right? x1 gets multiplied with p and x2 gets multiplied with q, right? Now, in case you want to find the midpoint, just take the average of the x coordinates and average of the y coordinates, right? That will give you the midpoint of the line segment, right? Now, if you have 3 points, you might be able to form a triangle, right? Suppose the points are x1, y1, x2, y2 and x3, y3. Now, you can also find the area of the triangle, right, using this relation. This is the chain rule, or you can call it the shoelace theorem, whichever one. If you want to learn more about it, you can search Wikipedia for Pick's theorem or the shoelace concept. You'll be able to find out the more interesting information about how to find area of a closed region, right? Now, if the area comes out to be 0, then the 3 points will be collinear. All of them will be on a straight line, right? You can also find the centroid. Centroid will be the average of the coordinates. The x coordinate will be the average of x coordinates. The y coordinate will be the average of the y coordinates. Now, using these basic concepts, let's solve a few questions which actually came up in the past CAT and XAT papers. The first question is from CAT 2002. This is a direct application of the area relationship. So if I call this set 1, set 2, set 3, right? So area is what is needed to be found. The area of the triangle whose vertices are given to you. So it will be half of like a into a plus 1 minus a, plus second set will be a plus 1 into a minus a, which is 0, plus the third set will be a plus 2 into a minus a plus 1, right? Absolute value of this, right? So this will be 1, this will be 0, and this will be minus 1. So if we rewrite this, so it will be half of a, this is 0, plus a plus 2 into minus 1, which is same as half of a minus 2. So it's minus 1, modulus of that will be equal to 1, option B. Pretty straightforward application, job done. The second question is from XAT 2015. It says two diagonals of a parallelogram intersect each other at coordinates 17.5 and 23.5. Two adjacent points of the parallelogram are 5.5, 7.5 and 13.5, 16. Find the length of the diagonals. So if I draw the parallelogram, right, you'll have the diagonals intersect at, right, so the location of the diagonals is known. Midpoint of the diagonals is known. Now this is the midpoint. The basic property of a parallelogram is the diagonals bisect each other. Now it is known also that the two adjacent points, so it can be AB or BC or CD or DA, doesn't matter. One of these points is 5.5, 7.5 and another point is 13.5 and 16. Right. Now, how does this help us? We need to find the length of the diagonals. How does this help us? We know from one of the diagonals will be double of this length and the other diagonal will be double of this length. So we will be able to find the length of the two diagonals, right? Let's calculate. The first diagonal length will be 4 square plus, this will be 7.5 square root. Right. Right. Now 8, 15, 17 is a 8, 15, 17 is a right angle triangle. Right. 64, 225, 289. Right. So if I take a half of it, this will be 4, 7.5, 8.5. Right. So this point will be 8.5. This will be another 8.5. So the full diagonal length will be 17. So 17 is this. So I can probably mark this. Now multiple answers will not be possible. Right. If you just want to verify whether the other diagonal adds up to 40, let's take this one. So 7.5 minus 17.5 minus 5.5 will be 12.5. Sorry, 12. 23.5 minus 7.5 will be 16. So 12 square plus 16 square square root. Now 3, 4, 5 is a right angle triangle. 3 into 4 will be 12. 4 into 4 will be 16. 5 into 4 will be 20. So this will give us 20. This will be giving us another 20. 20 plus 20 will be 40. Option B. However, the moment we find a 17, we can mark the answer here itself. We got lucky here. In case you had found a 40, right, you would have try out one of these two, right? So, but other than that, pretty straightforward question. Again, the key point which was used was the basic principles of parallelogram don't change. The diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. The third question is from ZAT 2011. It was considered pretty difficult, but let's see. This was one of the easier question from that paper. It says in a rectangular planar coordinate system, L, M, N, O are represented by these coordinates. So the coordinates of this sort of like a quadrilateral is given to you. Consider a variable point in the same plane. What will be the minimum value of PL plus PM plus PN plus PO? So you have L, M, N, O. Right. Now I want to minimize the distance of P. It can be anywhere from each of these points. Right. Now if you were to consider a quadrilateral, right, and you look at the meeting point of the diagonals, right, so let's call it X. Right. Now if I put P here, right, if you consider P here itself, so we know because the sum of any two sides of a triangle will be bigger than the third side, MO will be lesser than PM plus PO. Similarly, if you take the other two corners, right, we also know that NL will be lesser than PN plus PL, which means that the distance is minimized if X and P coincide. The distance will be minimized when X and P will coincide, right? And what is X? X is the meeting point of the diagonals. X is the meeting point of the diagonals, right? And what will be the minimum distance which we need? Will be the sum of the two diagonals, Ln plus MO. Ln plus MO is what we need to find. That will be the minimum value. Now let's find Lm. Lm will be these two. These are in order. So distance between -5, 0 and 0, 5 will be 5 square plus 5 square square root. That will be 5 root 2. So looks like this answer. But since there's a none of these, we'll have to check the other part also. The other one will be 1 minus 1 and minus 1, 5. 1 minus 1, that will be 2 square plus 5 and minus 1 will be 6 square square root. That will be root 40. Root 40 will be 2 root 10. Right, so matches. Option B is your correct choice. This question basically used the basic principles of triangular inequality, and then applied to the coordinate geometry system. Right, about 2.5 minutes in an exam situation, job done. And the last question is from ZAT 2009. In fact, one of my favorite questions because it uses not a lot of information, but can be solved very easily. Let's see what this says. Given 5 points, A is equal to 7, 4, B is equal to -10, 0, C is equal to -10, 3, D is equal to 0, 10, E is equal to 7, 7. Every second, all the points move by halving their abscissas and doubling their ordinates. Right? The process continues for 500 years. After 500 years, which of the 2 points are closest? Right? So you have multiple points, A, B, C, D, E, etc. Now, first of all, you might think that what is happening? This is 500 years, and then every second the points are changing. Right? Now, what is happening? They are halving their abscissa. Abscissa is their x coordinate, and ordinate is your y coordinate. Right? This gets doubled, and abscissa gets halved. Now, since this number is going to be very, very large, right? This exponent is going to be very, very large, right? So this is your, suppose, where will A be? A will be 7 into 1 by 2 to the power a very large number, comma 4. It gets doubled to the same very large number. Now, since this is a very large number, this will almost become 0. So 7 into 0 will become 0. So it will be on the y-axis, right? It will be somewhere on the y-axis, right? So it will be 4 into, let's call this multiplier k. This will be 4k. This will be the value of A. Now the same thing will happen with B, C, D and E also. Their x coordinates will also become 0, right? Minus 10 into 0 will become 0, whereas their y coordinate will be 0 into this. So P will be here. Where will C be? C will be again at 0, comma 3 into K. C will be at 3 into K. Where will be D? D will be at 0, comma 10 into K. And E will be at 7, this will become 0, and this will become 7K. Right, now you need to find which of them are closest to each other. Now we can obviously see the order from here. Between B and C, the difference will be 0 to 3K. That will be 3K. Between A and C, the distance will be just K. Between E and A, the distance will be 7 minus 4K, which will be 3K. And here also the distance will be 3K. All the other distance will be larger than these distances. So we need to check the lowest of these distances, A and C. Option A will be our correct choice. Now, one point to remember is that this becomes almost equal to 0, practically 0. And this does not become infinity. It becomes close to infinity, a huge number, but there will be still some gap between these values, right? Because the multipliers are the same, I would put this as a multiplier of K, and this becomes very, very small, almost becomes 0. So even if you want to try the Pythagoras theorem to try to find, or the distance formula relation to find out, the x coordinate will not matter. It's only the y coordinate which matters. It's a beautiful question. First of all, it requires you to know what an abscissa is, what an ordinate is. If you don't know those values, you will not be able to do it. Even if you try to figure out abscissa and ordinate, then you don't need a lot of rocket science to do it. You just need simple understanding that the x coordinate will become too small, almost 0. Y coordinate will become infinitely large, but the multiplier for each of the y coordinate is the same. As you have seen, coordinate geometry does not require a lot of new principles. All you need to do is visualize the things which you already know in a two-dimensional coordinate system. That completes this particular session. If you liked it, please do share it with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examination. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow our Facebook page. The links for our course are available on the description to this video. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.